Hello, my beautiful baddies. Welcome back to another episode of Your Inner Baddie Speaking. Today's episode, we're going to do things a little differently. Something that's been very therapeutic for me throughout my sort of journey and just sort of getting back to a healthier place and feeding my inner baddie has been writing love letters to myself. I know that's kind of a weird concept. It started honestly on a day, I think I was actually at work, did not like my job at the time. I think I was starting to notice the boss I had was definitely different than I thought they would be. And the job just wasn't exactly panning out the way you hope. Obviously, when you get into a new job, you're like, yes, it's gonna be the best, it's gonna be amazing. And when it doesn't work out that way, it's always a little bit disheartening. So I was just having like a bad day, job wasn't really going super well. And I wanted to remind myself that I still love me regardless of feeling down or feeling shitty about work or any of those things. And it was really weird because I don't think at the time I was so motivated by, I want to remind myself that I love myself. But it was just one of those, I think I need to write something down. And what came to mind when I was, I opened up my notes app on my phone, and what came to mind was starting to write myself a love letter. And one of the first ones I ever wrote was just all about like, you are enough. And I think in a future episode, I'll share that one. But one that really stuck with me, I think, more than any other love letter I've ever written myself has been the one that I have on my bathroom mirror, or I guess around my bathroom mirror. I have a lot of sticky notes now there of just phrases and manifestations and things that I need to remember. And one of them is this love letter that I wrote to myself. And it's very, very short. I mean, maybe not letter is not the term I would use, but every night I see it on my mirror when I'm, brushing my teeth, getting ready for bed, washing my face, kind of doing my nightly routine. And I realize that at night, I tend to have the most anxiety, and I tend to have the most, it's more of a difficult time for me to quiet my mind. Usually my mind is racing with, this is something I need to do tomorrow, or do I really feel comfortable going to bed without doing XYZ, or maybe I should have gotten to this, or like almost thinking of things I forgot to do, or just thinking of things maybe I did forget to do something. And I'm sure some of you will resonate with nighttime being more of a difficult time to actually put your thoughts to the side or at ease and be able to just relax and unwind. And I started adding a few things to my nighttime routine, like listening to calming music or listening to a song that just really makes me feel like I can relax my brain, whether that be like a Megan Thee Stallion song. I know that's kind of weird, but like sometimes you need like a little like, yes, like I'm a baddie before I go to bed. Or sometimes I need more of like an anxiety calming song that's more like sounds or waves crashing or something like that. But I started to incorporate music into my nighttime routine and just keeping it very casual as I'm kind of doing my chores per se. Sometimes it feels like washing my face and brushing my teeth and getting changed is a chore. Sometimes it feels like something I'm so grateful to do. It depends on the day, honestly. But just to kind of make it through those things and make it feel more relaxing as I do those things. Something else I started doing was, and I'm not always the best at this, but is limiting screen time on my phone before going to bed. And obviously if I'm playing music off of my phone, that's a little bit more difficult, but like I just won't look at other things. Like I won't look at Instagram or I won't look at TikTok because gosh, I could go down a TikTok rabbit hole. But all of this to say, I was trying to improve my nighttime routine to kind of ease those thoughts and ease that anxiety and go to bed in a better space. So one, I would fall asleep quicker so my mind would just shut up. And two, so I could just feel a little bit better while I was ending my day. And so one of the things I realized when I was putting all this together is like, what better way to end my evening than telling myself that I love me and I love anything that I've gone through and that tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. And so every night before I go to bed, usually after I brush my teeth, I will look myself in the mirror, and that's partially why I do it in my bathroom and have the sticky note on my mirror, is that so I can look at myself while I say this. Because I think while it's important to tell yourself with your thoughts or by writing something down and journaling or just throughout the day reminding yourself that you love yourself, sometimes you need to look yourself directly in the eyes and really tell yourself, like, I love you. You're the one that I love. And sometimes that's hard. I mean, there was a time that I didn't like looking in the mirror, and I certainly didn't like telling myself I love you, looking at myself in the eyes. It's kind of a weird thing at first. You're a little shy. It feels weird. It doesn't feel as good as it should, even though you're just telling yourself that you love yourself. And it's actually something I picked up from, I believe her name is Abraham Hicks, if I'm remembering it correctly. And she does a lot of motivational speaking and all of this sort of stuff that ties into these concepts. But one of the things that she had said is, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. And she said, not a lot of people can hold eye contact while they do that. And I was like, out here like, well, we're gonna do it. I can look at myself and I could say I love you. I'm not gonna be one of those that can't do it. And of course, that's kind of the ego talking, but but I really wanted to. I wanted to get to a place where I was comfortable. And so this is the love letter that I read myself every night before bed. And it can sometimes vary. I don't always say it verbatim, but sometimes I add a few things. But generally, this is what I'll say to myself. I love you, Corinne, and always will, even on the bad days. I love your heart and how soft you are, despite what life has thrown at you. I love that every morning you wake up trying to be better, and every night you go to sleep knowing that you are loved, safe, and secure. May the universe bring you blessings while you sleep. And I know that's kind of weird. I go from like first tense to talking about myself. But it's a beautiful reminder to me that even though life is hard, even though I've gone through some things and life has tried to harden me, and sometimes I've succumbed to that. I've hardened my heart. We adopt these self-destructive behaviors that were built in a time that we wanted to survive, and we needed those to survive, and you don't always need them when you're not in those situations anymore, but your body doesn't know how to give that up. And so I feel like it's a good way to remind myself that I want to give myself grace, and I want to give myself just love during times where I know I've had to make it through hard things, or I've had to make it through a bad day. Happy days are obviously a lot easier. I can tell myself, I love you so much, and tomorrow's gonna be amazing, and today was amazing, and you got to see friends or family, or you got to talk to a loved one, or things that made you happy, that made your day full of joy. But not every day is like that. And so I like to give myself a reminder when I'm saying I love you before bed, that I love you even on those bad days and on those hard days, and when life is fucking tough, because life is tough. And just another reminder that every morning I really do try to be a better person, to be a better version of me, to be closer to what I would consider a higher version, or the woman that I'm trying to become and working to become, and the woman that I already am. And always making those little steps. I think it's helpful for me to know that I do that every day, and that a big one for me, and the reason why it's in my love letter, is that every night you go to sleep, you know that you are loved, you are safe, and you are secure. And I think we could do a whole episode on this, but I went through a period of my childhood, a decent portion of my childhood, feeling unloved by someone that you're supposed, society tells you you're supposed to be loved by. And I didn't always feel safe in my environment, and I didn't always feel secure. And secure can mean a variety of things. Secure for me does mean multiple things. And some of those things are feeling secure with my intuition, feeling secure with my thoughts, feeling secure with my decisions, and also just feeling secure knowing that I have a roof over my head, feeling secure in the fact that I am financially secure, feeling secure in the fact that people won't just leave me, which is a very, very deep insecurity of mine. And so to remind myself of those things, that I am loved by me always and others, that I am safe. And I think I've spent a long time building an environment that I feel safe in. And of course, that's varied over the years, especially living with other people, and building a life with other people, and that not always being the safest environment for me. But returning always to try to make the place that I live and the space that I live safe. And I think a lot of people will understand that when you come home, the last thing you want to do is to feel like you're tiptoeing, to feel like something could happen to you, to feel emotionally safe in your space. I mean, I'll sage my space, even just me and my cat, I sage my space, because every now and again I'll bring negative emotions, or I'll bring negativity into my space that I need to cleanse. But feeling safe to be your absolute truest self in your own space is something that's very, very important to me. And I think that stems from, there was a period of my childhood later on in my life where it was just me and my mom, and I wanted it that way. That kind of sounds like I got rid of everyone else living with us, but my brother went off to college, and I had a lot of issues with my father growing up. And luckily, in the state that I grew up in, at a certain age you can decide what parent you would like to live with, and you do not have to live with both parents or live with a certain parent. So I was able to make the decision without having to take any other course of action, to live with just my mom. And my mom and she taught this to me, to make your space your safe space, to make your space the space that you can count on, to make your home feel like home for you, to want to be in that place, to want to be in an area that feels good. And it was very important for the two of us to feel safe in our space. It wasn't something that either one of us had felt, and I'm sure my mom for longer than I had, that our place that we lived in was not safe. And so she taught me that you can make anywhere, no matter who's lived in it before, no matter what's happened within those walls, you can make that space as safe as you need it to be with the proper tools. And of course, if you're in an unsafe situation with someone else, the best thing you can do is either remove yourself or figure out a way where if they're comfortable leaving, or however you can get out of that situation. And so that was a big factor for us. But having a clean space, having, food, having just comfortable couches, having like our couch and TV setup was like one of our favorite areas, and we always would watch TV at night, or like my mom's shows that she taped, or movies. We were big into movies. That became like our cozy, safe space. And just being able to sleep and wake up in a space where you are not worried about your health or your safety is a phenomenal thing. And so that's one of the things I've constantly tried to work on, is creating that safe space. And within my current apartment, I think what adds to it, and this is, everything varies for different people on what makes them feel comfortable or what makes them feel good, but like artwork makes me feel good. Pops of color makes me feel good. Cleanliness makes me feel good, which is sometimes hard with a cat who sheds, is constantly getting into stuff. I mean, I came home from the office literally today to find out that my cat threw up on my duvet cover. So that was fun to clean up. But again, I'll feel better when it's clean. But having things where they have their place, so I'm not losing things, having decorations that feel warm and homey to me, candles, as I spoke about on the episode of things that make me happy, having those throughout the house. I have them in every room except for the closet, because I have way too many clothes, and I would be so nervous that that shit would go up in flames, because it just would instantly. But having those pieces, and having a bed that makes me feel good, and having security in a building that makes me feel good, and knowing that my door is locked makes me feel good. But all of those little things contribute to me feeling safe in my space. And I've definitely gone through periods of, introducing new things into my home, getting rid of old things that no longer serve me, to make me feel good in my space. So, safety obviously is a level to it, but feeling safe in your space can just mean feeling good and feeling safe enough to open up emotionally. It can be that this is your space where you feel comfortable crying in, or you feel comfortable yelling in, or you feel comfortable venting in, or you just feel comfortable. I mean, I do my therapy sessions from home, and it's very important that I feel comfortable in a space to share my emotions. So that's a very big thing for me. And then feeling secure. I've worked really, really hard. I've done a lot of self-work to be able to get to a place where I can feel secure in my gut feelings, in my intuition, and trusting myself. That has taken me, one of the things that has taken me the absolute longest in my journey is trusting myself, because I wasn't necessarily raised to trust my opinion over others. It was definitely impressed upon me that others are more important than me, and I should put others' needs before mine, and therefore I wouldn't listen to my needs. I would think about someone else before I would ever listen to that, if I even did. I've gotten, as we all have, gotten into the wrong relationship. And I think something we don't talk about often enough is when you're leaving an unhealthy relationship, or you're forced to leave an unhealthy relationship, the it's almost the guilt, and maybe that's not the right word, but that's how I would describe it for myself, is the guilt of feeling like, how do I trust myself if I chose that person, or I chose to believe those things that they were saying, or I made all of these deliberate choices thinking that I was doing myself a good thing, especially with a loved one. You're like, okay, I chose you as a partner, and then I chose to believe you, and then I chose to love you, and then I chose to continue loving you. And then even if I was given reasons not to, I chose to continue doing it. And I trusted that person, and I trusted that they had good intentions for me. And that's not always the case. And I had a hell of a time thinking, how do I trust myself if I've made those decisions for me? Decisions that weren't good for me, where I should have seen the red flags, or I should have seen that this person was bad, or I should have seen that they didn't have my best interests at heart, or I should have seen that they didn't give a fuck about me, and this can be more than just a relationship. This can be in friendships, this can be in parents, this can be in family members who, and of course there's layers to everything, but feeling like, how the hell do I trust myself if I'm the one who made those choices? And it takes a long time to start thinking, what I'm feeling and my gut, they're actually correct, and they're actually looking out for me, and I can trust them. I don't need to ask someone else's opinion. I don't need to get, like a second opinion. I don't need to run it by somebody else. I can believe in me, and I can act on it. And also just feeling secure in the fact that whoever is meant to come into your life is meant to come into your life, and whoever leaves your life is also meant to leave your life, and to let all of those things go. But I can still feel secure with my love. I can still feel secure that I will never leave me, and that even if somebody leaves my life, it's not necessarily a reflection on me. It's not necessarily a reflection on bad choices I've made, and I can feel secure and not feeling like someone has abandoned me or someone has given up on me. And I have deep-rooted abandonment issues, and I don't have to feel insecure just because people fall in and out of my life. I can be secure within myself, I can believe in myself, and I can love myself. And at the end of every fucking day, I love me, and I choose me, and I am there for me. And I think that's something that I've known but never understood before. And I really lean into that more of, I will always be there for me, and I will always love me. And that's so important for me to know. And that's why these love letters mean so, so much to me. And having that reminder on my bathroom mirror and saying it to myself every night, and having that reminder is so beautiful to me and so needed. And I need to remind myself that I love me and that I'm here for me. Because sometimes it feels like that's all you have. Even if that's not true, even if you have the love of others and you have, people and support and things to lean on, it doesn't always feel that way. And so to know deep down in your core and to remind yourself of that constantly, I think that is so powerful. And it just is a whole other way to just fuel your inner body and fuel that love for yourself, fuel that confidence, and take it up another notch. And then you tell yourself you love yourself again, and you take it up another notch. And then it just keeps growing And I want you to have that love for yourself radiate from the inside out. I want people to see it. I want people to see that you're glowing from your love. And so every few episodes, I will do another reading of a love letter that I've written to myself, because I think not only is it something that's been good for me, it's something that I want to push myself to continue to do, to always have another reminder. Anytime I need to read it, anytime I need to think it, I think we could all use a love letter to ourselves. And with that, baddies, say it with me. I'm a fucking baddie. All right, love y'all till next time.